The bonuses for the month of April consist of double gold money and XP on all Cold Arms missions, triple money. XP on tough business hardcore telegram missions, double money, and XP on all blood money opportunities. And finally, triple money and XP on featured. Showdown series mod all month along. Now to start any of this content, you can just open up your satchel, go to your documents section, and that's where you can play the tough business telegrams or start your call to arms missions. For the opportunity missions, just make sure you speak to any of the stranger missions givers that support blood money crimes contract and opportunities, and make sure you have enough capital to start them. Now let's start with the most lucrative money bonus that will allow players to earn 2 gold bar, $600 and over 4,000 XP in around 15 minutes, and that's call to arms. Base payout for call to arms is 1 gold bar, around 300 and 2000 XP for completing all 10 waves, not counting any of the earned XP from kills free aim challenge completed. And it should be noted, however, that it does vary a bit depending on if you are solo player running these missions or if you are playing with random or friends in a post and completing those 10 waves, and it turns out that actually playing in a post does reward you slightly more than running things solo, which is incredibly weird considering the workload is shared between up to 4 players in a shorter amount of time as well, versus just one player completing the entire call to arms mission. But that's just the way Rockstar made it. Now if you have friends to play with, it's advised that you play together, but if you don't or just prefer running solo like me, that's totally fine. This mode is still extremely lucrative with the double gold and money bonuses. Now those payouts I mentioned tough are the full payouts for completing all 10 waves, again 2 gold bar, $600 and over 4,000 XP if you were to unfortunately get killed during any of those waves below. Wave 10 and you fail the mission, 20 gold nuggets per wave completed, so 9 waves you still 2 gold bars, but the money you are paid out decreases significantly. So for players who are not super confident they can master all 10 waves, there is very viable strategy of only completing what you are comfortable with. I recommended blowing yourself up on wave 7 or so the entire call to arms mission, and instead of just abandoning it, you can simply replay. The game doesn't alert you about this specialty, but if you are were to fail on wave 7 for example, you would receive the full payout for the actual 6 waves that you completed. You get your gold, money and XP, and then you could simply just play a game by replaying the mission. The reason I say wave 7 is because that's when the waves really ramp up in difficulty. Those war wagons start spawning enemies with machetes spawn, and if you aren't careful they can't sneak upon you and melee execute you. They have the overpowered snipers, the bullet sponge head enemies on Fort Mercer. You literally have a cannon shooting at you. It's just a bunch of enemy spawns that you previously seen from challenging. Later in rebound is put into one mod, so wave 7 is a good spot to add and replay. Now remember, don't abandon the mission, otherwise you have to wait that 48 minutes cooldown timer, so only abandon when you know you are no longer interested in playing, or you just want to take a break because you can come back later. Wave 5 or 6 or so also works too if you like that little bit more, and that's a little bit more friendly to newer players, but it could still be challenging completing all 10 waves without really good ability card. Loadout, powerful weapons and tonics can serve as a big heal to climb over, but I have full confidence that if you take it slow you are gonna succeed. Feel free to play on any map. I simply recommend Blackwater as its good starting point, as there's loads of cover and the higher waves you can stand on top of the theater, or if you prefer the bank of Blackwater for great sniper vantage points and you don't need to overexpose yourself to the war wagons or the snipers or anything like that. Just watch out for enemies who may climb up the ladder to get to you. My preferred loadout for call to arms and especially the Blackwater map is to save it off shotguns as my sidearms for close range support, a Lanchester repeater for medium range combat, and then my Carcano rifle for those long range engagements like taking out those war wagon turret operators. For example, next up we have a double money and XP one blood money opportunities. There's 3 missions task you with stealing Varus Ultra, valuable jewels from Annesburg, Sandoni, and Rhodes. All 3 of these pay out basically the same amount, and these 12 minutes on ruthless difficulty opportunities may pay out 300, but it's too bad you can't farm them back to back forever because you need to meet that annoying 25 capital threshold to even start one, while you can consistently earn up to 3 capitali per blood money contract like we talked about earlier. It's also would be nice to see triple payouts on those missions because that could be more reminiscent of the infamous bounties, like we had triple payouts on those last month, and that would make the interim grind more lucrative for players. This month, the inability to farm these missions repeatedly, combined with the fact that all the content that has bonuses for the April events takes away from those Moonshiner and Trader productions, this basically just makes April the least beginner friendly set of bonuses that we have seen in a while now. Players can take part in all this content without needing to spend any gold as overhead on rolls, for example, and they could just start these things when they start the game if they so choose, but they're gonna get wrecked on Redless difficulty hardcore telegrams and opportunities, and also higher waves of call to arms. All in all, tough. What is this event best for farming golds? Absolutely double money and call to arms and cheesing it by ending the mission early and restarting over and over. That's gonna award you several gold bars per day when you play, and you should be good to good to go. With all that said, tough, we finally covered everything. This was definitely a longer video here, but I hope you got as much value out of it as possible. We are gonna wrap things